Hey, everybody, welcome in. Happy week of Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving week. However you'd prefer that I say it, happy that to you. I'm Jesse Montano. I'm going to be joined by Meghan Angley in just a moment. This is Guerilla Sports Off Ice. What a weekend we have to talk about here. The Colorado Avalanche coming off back-to-back shutouts. Each member of the Lumberyard gets in on it. Mackenzie Blackwood on Saturday, Scott Wedgwood on Sunday. A lot to talk about there, and the fact that the Avs continue to roll. We're going to talk about Mikko Rantanen losing his mind a little bit. And yes, folks, we are at technically game 22 now. We have hit the 20-game mark. That means it is time for a pyramid ranking that you can only get right here on Guerilla Sports Off Ice. And yeah, we're going to talk about Tate McRae and Jack Hughes. We are. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind you guys about our great friends and partners over at RefiJet. Did you guys know that you could refinance your auto loan? It was news to me when I first met our great friends over there at RefiJet. With RefiJet, you could save around $150 every single month, all which is a soft credit pull and zero hassle, lower payments, flexible terms, maybe even some cash back in your pocket from your car's equity. And who couldn't use a little bit of not only extra monthly savings, but some cash in your pocket this time of year? Look, you guys hear me say it all the time. The best way to support us and what we're doing here at Guerilla Sports is to support our partners. So head on over refijet.com/sports. Go check them out. See if they can't help you out. Fill out a form, see if they can't maybe save you some money. It's the best way to support what we're doing here at Guerilla Sports Off Ice, as well as our infield coverage. refijet.com/sports. Check them out. It is the faster, easier way to refinance. Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Hey, everybody, welcome in. I'm Jesse Montano. This is Meghan Angley's Guerilla Sports Off Ice Monday afternoon, the week of Thanksgiving. Meghan, the Avs are coming off back-to-back shutouts. A good weekend for the Colorado Eagles as well. And you got to hang out with a brand new doggo. How are you doing this Monday coming off what was a really great weekend for you, it sounds like?
It was an amazing weekend. My parents rescued a little dog. His name is Gunner. He's about 2 years old, and he's perfect. Okay. I'm a woman of faith. I believe in God, and I believe God has soulmates for people and soul dogs for people. And I think this dog was meant to find my family, and I'm so glad that he's here.
I did not know. I wasn't expecting you to go straight from, oh, he's an amazing dog. Look, I'm a woman of faith. And I love that.
And I believe God brings you to people and to animals that are meant to be in your life. And this animal was definitely meant to be in ours.
Definitely meant to be. Well, just the one picture that I saw looks absolutely adorable. Very happy
so
for you
cute.
and your family. That's a great gift to have come in right before the holiday season. Do you got a favorite Thanksgiving food?
Arroz con gandules.
All right.
And turkey.
There have been 2 times already. How far into the show are we? 3 minutes and
I've said
42
some big
seconds. There have been 2
surprise
things that you have said that I was not expecting, and that's what I love about this show.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Turkey probably, just because when else do you eat turkey, but I like to get everything on my plate, but then 4 or 5 bites in, I like a nice forkful with a little bit of everything on there.
I get that. It's good mixing food. Mashed potato, gravy goes well with the turkey and the gravy.
And stuffing, and you just like it all kind of goes really well together in one bite. So that's maybe a cop-out answer. But like I what I love so much about Thanksgiving food is the way it complements each other.
Yeah.
It's great complementary food.
Yeah, kind of like the Avs depth.
Kind of like the Avs depth. What a great way to pull it back. Turkey is probably my you can't have Thanksgiving without turkey.
I wish we ate turkey a little bit more.
Right? Like, especially like my dad kicks ass at making turkey. And so like I just Why can't I just go get a nice turkey drumstick on the reg?
I know.
You
And I
know?
guess you can, but it's hard.
Yeah. It's also just not quite the same.
No.
It's not without all the other fixings. It's not all quite the same.
So true.
Colorado Avalanche have a lot to be thankful for coming off a weekend of back-to-back shutouts. And Megan,
true.
Look, I'm not trying to kick a guy while he's down. I'm not trying to take a side swipe, but is it not
The contrast.
a bit poetic in the contrast of what a difference 1 year makes? Not only did a year ago today the Avs have the league worst save percentage, Colorado Avalanche get back-to-back shutouts, one from each goaltender to start this season. And 24 hours later, Alexander Georgiev has his contract terminated by the Buffalo Sabres, Rochester Americans, and is officially heading back to the KHL. When you look back at those deals, I tweeted about it yesterday. 2nd, a 5th, a 6th, Justus Annunen, Alexander Georgiev, Nikolai Kovalenko. That is what it took, Megan, for the Avs to turn over the goaltending room. They did that. They haven't looked back since. And boy, oh boy, did that depth flex this weekend in 2 games where the Avs skaters really needed strong performances from their goaltenders. They got it. The Avs continue to roll. They have this weekend put a little bit of distance between themselves and the rest of the NHL.
Yeah, and I didn't think these were 2 of their best games.
No.
And so each one, it was in net that Blackwood and Wedgwood each night gave them a chance to win through really stellar performance. Like, I think that Wedgwood following it up with a shutout will kind of paper over just how good the Mackenzie Blackwood shutout was, because Nashville was really putting a lot on net, and they just had a bit more energy throughout the entirety of the game in terms of creating chances. So I think that Blackwood was deeply tested, and the Avs team in front of him just a little bit lackadaisical, I would say. And I'm not going to come down on them too hard because they still get the wins in each game, especially digging deep when the tank is pretty empty in that second game in Chicago. I like, too, that they started with a little more energy despite probably not having their legs underneath them, because I think they recognize they weren't quite ready at the drop of the puck in that Nashville game the way that they should be. That's their standard, right? I think they recognize they fell a little bit below it, but the 2 people that stayed at that really high standard all weekend when the Avs needed it most was Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood. And you're right, the juxtaposition of where Alexander Georgiev is at right now in the season, heading overseas to the KHL, to where this goalie tandem has been, even with Mackenzie Blackwood getting back up to game form and just kind of gradually being eased into play. It's incredible the position the Avs are in with goaltending now.
It's and you can see it. And Megan, I was going to wait to the pyramid to bring this up, but
sorry, this comment is so good. I'm a woman of faith, and I believe God brought us the lumberyard. That is really good.
I'm a woman of faith. Episode title. I'm a woman of faith. Oh my God, that is so good. That is so good. I was gonna wait till the pyramid to mention it, but Megan, he's only played a few games for the Avs this season, and it took him a minute to find his footing. Mackenzie Blackwood. I thought what he got up and said after he got the game puck on Saturday kind of just told the whole story of the difference in this goaltending from last year to this year. Mackenzie Blackwood gets the game puck and he stands up and he says, "Hey guys, great win. Took me a little bit to find my game. Thank you for being patient with me. Let's keep it going." And I just thought that was a really interesting, and he's 3-0-1 on the season. Like, I thought that was a really interesting way for him to acknowledge, or 3-0-1?
3-0-1 is correct.
Did I say that right? Okay. I just thought that was a really interesting way for him to acknowledge he didn't get to play all summer. He missed training camp. He was the starter. He's the guy came in with the contract extension. Took him a while to get settled in. And I just, Jared Bednar has talked about it at times of that last tandem, Alexander Georgiev, Justus Annunen didn't have a lot to say. Not even just to the media, but in the room. Didn't have a lot to say. Kind of kept quiet to themselves. There was something to me about Mackenzie Blackwood getting up and saying like, hey, I haven't been quite at my best. That was my best. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. Like if you're a player in that room, like any maybe frustration or moments of pause you had about Mackenzie Blackwood and the way that those first couple games went, gone out the window. You're back to feeling confident.
You should be.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. This guy's got our back. We've got his.
Yeah, I think there's been question around Mackenzie Blackwood because he hasn't looked quite to the standard that he set last year. And that's tough. It was a high standard he set for himself. So I think keeping in mind in that 3-0-1 record that only overtime loss is his literal first game back. And I get maybe it felt like softer competition in it being the San Jose Sharks, but even his games that he has said the Avs have been patient with him through, they've won. Right. They haven't been bad. They've just been okay. You know, even Jared Bednar kind of in talking about it through this point was just okay. It was excellent against Nashville. 35 save shutout, 21 high danger chances stopped. That was a really strong effort on behalf of Nashville. And I think that everything Scott Wedgwood is doing is so complimentary to give Mackenzie Blackwood that confidence to more gradually ease back into his game. I imagine, too, the pressure it created, if any, and maybe there's a little, right, is good for Mackenzie Blackwood. To really work to reclaim that starter's net then with the certainty that he demonstrated in that Nashville performance being as strong as it was. Now there's a lot less room for doubt. It wasn't just an okay performance. It was great.
It was great.
And so it's a lot truer to the form that we saw Mackenzie Blackwood do very consistently for the Avs last year. And it's a great room to be in.
How about this from Brooke Elise? C-Mac for top pyramid spot?
Ooh, that's a really good call.
You know, we didn't, but you maybe just poked a huge flaw in our pyramid logic for this week.
Quickly, yeah. Jesse's just going to be quickly editing on his computer. I will talk. I'll monologue.
Just so everyone knows, I have a half-made wooden pyramid at home.
This is important.
Full disclosure, Megan walked in. She was, are you ready for the pyramid? And I went, no, I completely forgot we were doing this episode today. So we have a digital pyramid for today, but we do have the physical. We're going to get a nice easel, and we're going to have the pyramid right here, and I'm making it so we'll be able to slap things up there a bit. Yeah, we'll be able to put them with some emphasis. But no, shout out to Brooke Elise there. C-Mac took a lot of heat over these last couple seasons. There have been some trades that didn't quite break the Avs' way. He has not gotten enough credit for the overhaul that he did on this roster last year, a lot of which is carried over into this season, with, of course, the highlight being the goaltending. So I'm with you on your assessment of the Avs for this weekend. Much left to be desired from the players up front, but wow, what a performance from you two guys in net.
Hats off to the goalies. You're going to need games like that from them. I mean, you want the Avs to be at that standard every game. It's going to be hard over an 82-game season. So I think the concern for the Avs, I don't believe it's a real one, is, are they too good too early in this season?
Yeah. I saw somebody, I had someone in my mentions being like, because that first period for the Avs last night against the Hawks did not go well. Like that was... They survived it. Right. For a period that you come out 0-0, that was about as bad as it could have played out.
That Parker Kelly intermission interview, he was gassed because he was on the kill twice, not saying unnecessarily, just like they were not controlling that period by any means. And Parker Kelly, who's usually the most animated guy on the team, even didn't have much to say. He was just tired. And it wasn't good. And I had some of my mentions saying like, oh, is this what they need? Do they need to get their ass kicked to remember they're not No, you never need to get your ass kicked. No, like the Edmonton Oilers did not need to be smacked around by the Colorado Avalanche to know that losing doesn't feel good.
Yeah, nobody ever needs that. Now, do I think it's good every now and then to have a 20-minute segment where it's like, oh man, we had to be bailed out a bit. We got to get it going. We got to turn.
Not like us.
That's never a bad thing. But you never want to lose. Any game where you lose is never a good thing. That's a great great call out about the Oilers. I'm pretty sure Connor McDavid knew well before losing 9-1 that, hey, that won't be fun.
No.
But I do think that was a good, like, hey, this isn't good enough. Get it cleaned up. And I will give this to the Avs. For as much as I thought they struggled over the weekend, I thought that second period was dominant last night in Chicago. The Avs came out and said, hey, all right, you guys had your fun in the first. We're going to kind of take over from here. End up out shooting the Hawks 19-1 in the second. And we're able to give Scott Wedgwood a little bit of a break, which he needed because the third period, there was a lot. But just good on the Avs for being able to get to a version of their game. Last night, you said you're not going to be able to do it all 82. All right, keep moving here because the bulk of the show will be Pyramid. We don't have to spend a lot of time here, Megan. I know people are kind of sick of hearing it. Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, there's a transition here, right? Ace JM 22233.
Yes.
We wouldn't be like this if CMAC didn't trade Mikko, and that took some serious guts. Good Mikko transition. Great
Mikko transition. Also, another shout out to CMAC. He recognized his team needs to be deeper. This team would not look like this right now if they had paid Mikko Rantanen $12 million last year. Not saying that they shouldn't have done it. I'm not saying they whatever. I'm just saying facts are facts. You wouldn't have this roster right now. And Megan, Mikko went a little crazy this week. I don't know what happened. Really, really scary, dangerous hit on Alexander Romanov, which Mikko Rantanen really fully got away with on the, technicality of he got tangled up. He didn't have his full balance. I think when you watch that replay, I thought it was still probably a game, but hey, I don't have an issue with it. If they're saying, no, we don't think he had a chance to make a better play, that's fine. One game later, he comes out and lays another really, really dangerous hit. By the way, should mention Alexander Romanov out 6 to 8 months after requiring surgery. Mikko Rantanen makes another really dangerous hit. And the only supplemental discipline he gets is the automatic 1-game suspension for having 2 back-to-back game misconducts. I was a little surprised the league didn't look into it a little bit more. Mikko Rantanen made 2 really dangerous plays this week. And look, he's always been a physical guy who can play on the edge at times. I just thought it was noteworthy because we watched him for a decade here in Colorado, and that seemed a little out of character for him.
Yeah, that application of physicality really doesn't make a lot of sense. There are different ways that he can sort of play a heavy game and being hard to knock off his skates, protecting the puck, using his strength. And so these 2 hits side by side are odd. Like the first one, I think the argument of getting tangled up, you lost me a little bit there. What I see is a player who lacks awareness, who should be a little bit more conscious to the proximity to the boards in this play and just honestly where his hands are going as he's falling. Yeah. Because he's a clumsy guy, but you just need to be a little bit more aware of what your arms are doing in that situation because it added insult to injury and obviously made it dangerous and caused an injury. But I think you could have looked at the intent and the lack of a track record there, and the call is good. But I find the Coronado hit inexcusable. To me, then, especially if this back of mine, there's so much more consciousness that you're not even getting a pass in that case with what Mikko Rantanen is doing here. And so it's just so absurd to me. I don't know if he's received some kind of directive about applying physicality in this way to kind of add this dimension to his game. Like you can be Mikko Rantanen and more if you're doing this, but it is not being done correctly. Yeah. And there's a reason you shouldn't go 0 to 100 in applying physicality in this way, especially when you look at the players who try to play that game. They have to toe that line and live with consequences that keep them out of the lineup more often than not, like a Tom Wilson type of player. And you then have to live with the consequences of trying to be that type of guy. And you're going to make yourself less available to your team in playing this way. And that does not seem like the best use of Mikko Rantanen, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. Mikko Rantanen is a big guy. He's very strong. I think people maybe forget that about him sometimes because he is the offensive, talented, gifted offensive player that he is. He's a big, strong dude. And I think you saw him both of those. I don't know if that's like, hey, did you forget how big and strong you are? But two really dangerous plays, Megan.
Yeah.
He'll sit out one game, but truthfully, and again, like this is, I would say this if Mikko Rantanen was playing for the Colorado Avalanche, that deserved more than a game. Those are two really dangerous plays that the NHL does not want in the game.
I'm watching the Coronado one. It's so bad.
Forearm right to the back of the neck. It two really bad plays.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate just ensuring their head is going straight into the boards in a violent way.
And like with the 6 to 8 month timeline, like that's most of Romanov's season,
which is a shame.
Which
is bad.
A major shame. And look, I'm not calling for anything. Not that I have any power to call for anything. But like I'm sitting here thinking about how fired up Patrick Waugh was. No suspension. Mikko Rantanen's going to have to answer for that when the Dallas Stars go to Long Island. And I have a feeling there's going to be some guys coming for him. I'm not saying that that's right. No one should do anything illegal, dirty, anything that puts Mikko Rantanen in a compromising situation. But
best case scenario, he's going to the box with some kind of a matching penalty for roughing, or he drops the gloves and he's fighting to defend himself to answer for this. And either way, you're losing Mikko Rantanen in a game. Why would you want that?
Right. After he...
And that's best case scenario.
He gets kicked out with 30 seconds left in a game that your team almost ends up tying with less than a second to go, but there's some goalie interference. So Dallas Stars could have used him there. Gets kicked out over the weekend. Like to your point, Dallas could have used him there. And now you've already probably got a game against Calgary and a game against the Islanders where Mikko Rantanen's pencil it in. He's got some kind of minutes. And then he's sitting out either tonight or tomorrow.
Right.
And truthfully, he and the Dallas Stars are lucky it's not more. It should be more.
No, absolutely, especially that second hit.
The second one.
It in my opinion, warranted more. And that's what's just confusing in all of this is you're better with Mikko in your lineup than not. Like, is the physicality add really going to be of value more than just having Mikko Rantanen in games? And to your point, what we just laid out was best case scenario if Mikko were to get injured in response to something that has come from this. That's obviously worst case scenario.
Much worse. All right, let's move on. Here it is, the big topic of the day. Tate McRae spotted out in New York with Jack Hughes. Megan, your thoughts?
I'm still a little skeptical about it. Well, first and foremost, I've wanted Tate McRae to be a WAG again for a long time, but I've wanted it not at any and all cost, right? I don't want her to get her heart broken again. And so I have no issue with Jack Hughes either.
Right.
I just thought Jack Hughes had a girlfriend. I'm not that plugged in. I could be wrong. And the woman even didn't quite look like Tate McRae in the photo, but I've seen other photos since that show her in the same outfit. So I want to believe this is real, right? But is it two friends catching up?
Right.
Should he be around more glassware? Have they considered just like a hot chocolate in the park?
Yeah.
I don't know. But are they just friends? I don't know.
Paper cup on the hot chocolate.
I want it to be a relationship. I do. Only if it's real love. That's where I stand.
All right.
I just want Tate to find love
with
a hockey player.
we need to get a Tate McRae graphic. What's Tate up to?
And
we can stay on track with it. But I'm assuming you already knew about it before I texted you this morning.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've been trying to confirm. Is this really her? The back of, and even Jack Hughes looked a bit uncanny in the photo. The hand really sold it. I was all right, well, this would be too many coincidences.
Well, my favorite was it was like a Tate McRae fan who was tweeting about it. She's like, she's with some guy. Looks like he has a broken wrist or something. It's like, oh, poor Jack Hughes.
I know. That cracks me up. Like, if it's gonna be a hockey, I think that would be a good one. But
seems like a nice guy.
He seems like a nice guy.
It made me laugh because like athletes are crazy popular within their sports and stuff, but it was like when Taylor Swift first started dating Travis Kelce, we were here, and I'm not going to fully out them, but someone in the office went, so he's way more famous than she is. And everyone else, we all just collectively laughed at the top of our lungs. Like, no, no, Travis Kelce is nowhere near as famous as Taylor Swift is.
Yeah.
And poor Jack Hughes, very, very famous and popular amongst hockey circles.
Yes. Well, and I know that Tate caters to I don't want to say niche audience, but I know so many people who do not know who Tate McRae is.
You were very upset with me that I told you that I didn't know who she was at the All-Star game until she performed at the All-Star game. I was like, oh, I know these songs.
Yeah,
I just didn't know
face to name
that it was Tate McRae. Right.
It's all right.
All right. Any final Tate McRae thoughts?
We'll be watching and waiting.
We'll be watching and waiting.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Now the actual part that everybody's been waiting for. It's back, folks. It is back. The Guerilla Sports Off Ice Pyramid. We normally like to do these in 10-game segments. We game 20 would have been on Friday. Megan and I we wanted the weekend. Wanted the weekend to make sure that we had our picks dialed in. We had a couple more games roll in, but this is going to be our pyramid ranking, games 1 through 20. And you heard us complaining about it on Friday that this is going to be a tough pyramid here, Megan. That is such a good one, Vaguely. Oh man.
That's actually, boy. I demand it.
Yeah,
be
seriously.
changed right now.
That's the logo we're going to use on all your stuff. I got a great logo edit from Vaguely. But Megan, I said this would easily be the toughest pyramid that we've done yet, because typically the bottom rung of the pyramid and anybody who's left off is reserved for guys that either aren't doing their job, need to see more out of, or are just good enough, but you need more. There's not really a lot of guys that fit that description for the Avs in general.
This was a painful pyramid. The early version of it had about 6 guys hanging off the end of the pyramid.
Right. And so like, this is going to be a different pyramid than what you normally, there's not going to be a lot of criticisms levied here.
No.
As there normally would be in a player ranking pyramid, but that's not going to stop us from going through and talking about each of these guys and why they are maybe where they're at and what they could do to move up and what they need to do to avoid what they need to continue to avoid sliding back down. So let's get into it here, Megan. Kicking off the pyramid in the 15th spot, dancing Josh Manson.
Thank you for saying that.
Josh Manson, 15th on the pyramid. Been playing a lot recently with Brent Burns. And Megan, you've seen the offensive upside. While he doesn't think he has much puck skill, seems like he's been more active. He's been more willing to jump in. And I think has done a really serviceable job playing on his offside. Despite the fact that he has said, it's more difficult. It's a lot more, confusing. I'm thinking a lot more. Not only is he doing the job, I think he's doing it above average, Megan.
That was why he made my pyramid in the end. I didn't want to gloss over how Malinski playing on his left side to start the year, I don't think it was terrible, but it definitely didn't instill a lot of confidence in Jared Bednar, and it changed the way that the other defensemen were deployed in a way that I don't think was utilizing everyone to their best, including Malinski. And so with Manson taking on the brunt of playing on his left side, it's been challenging. He, I think, talked with you about just how challenging it really is. And he's at 1808 for his time on ice average, which is actually his highest since 2022. Before he came to the Avs, he was getting up there in minutes with Anaheim. And so not only are we getting available Josh Manson, who has been healthy through this point, getting in these games, he's playing a lot of minutes. He's eating up a lot of those minutes on the kill, and he's playing big minutes with Brent Burns, oftentimes on his offside. Despite the challenges, I thought that deserved a little bit of a shout out, because having Manson and Burns be a trusted enough pairing to eat up those minutes has allowed Malinski to come through in his game in a big way. I think the confidence has popped off. And so I just didn't want to look past that. This has probably been uncomfortable for Manson at times and challenges him every shift, but he's doing a really great job. And it might not, the production, for example, isn't popping off the page. And when you look at how he's producing and the shots, it's actually kind of on track with what he's been doing offensively through this point. But I've personally felt, to the eye test, that the flash that he shows offensively, that puck skill that you allude to, this is kind of like playoff Manson in my eyes. And it's been fun to see a little bit more of that in the regular season. So I don't want to get too carried away with it, but I really liked what Josh Manson has been doing to help balance out the rest of that decor.
He's been great. He's been great, and he's provided a lot of that stability where the Avs have needed it, and I think that's kind of always been the role that they've wanted for him. Moving on here, maybe a guy that's a little bit lower than you would have predicted at the beginning of the season, but I actually think, Megan, it is a testament to what the depth of this Avs back end is doing, and it's Devon Toews. Now, this is a player who he's never going to leap off the ice at you, but it's every little thing done right. Every little thing, every decision, every breakout pass, stick in a lane. Devon Toews just continues to do the quiet things right. He is a big reason, in my opinion, why Cale Makar is able to be who he is. The only thing that is maybe a little bit out of character for Devon Toews to start the season has been the production. And I'm not overly worried about that. I think Devon Toews if Devon Toews continues doing what he's doing right now, I don't think anybody would complain about that. He continues to be rock solid. He's going to continue to do that for the Avs. He's going to do it for Team Canada at the Olympics. A little bit more production, and he's probably a little ways up this pyramid. But you got to be happy with what you've seen out of Devon Toews on the whole for this season.
Absolutely. He's second in ice time on the team behind Cale, of course, but most on the PK. And so the addition of Brent Burns has alleviated some of Cale Makar's PK minutes. And we'll get to that in the Brent Burns conversation. But quietly in there, Devon Toews is still so much of a leader, especially for the defenseman represented on the penalty kill, which is top ranked in the league. So a lot of my penalty kill specialists get a lot of love in this pyramid in particular because of how good it's been. And that's where Devon Toews definitely deserves a nod in this pyramid for, to your point, continuing to do all the Devon Toews things like to his standard and maybe just a little bit of offense you want to see more of.
Yeah. He again, like I said, he's the stabling force, in my opinion, on this back end. He's what reins everything in. He's the calming presence. He's the calming attitude. And again, so he's one of those guys that I don't think you need to be far up the pyramid to be, impactful, anything like that. He's just going to continue to hum along and do what he does. He's one of those guys that I have a feeling will steadily just make his way up the tiers as the season rolls on and his steadiness and presence continues to shine. Moving on. Parker Kelly, PK for the PK. I mean, I don't know if we've given enough love to what the penalty kill has done. We've talked so much about the struggles of the power play and the Avs depth and all what the goaltending has done. Megan, the penalty kill, has maybe had the same type of impact that the goaltending has, in that there's been these moments, there's been these games where you sit there and you say, wow, they don't win without that. And Parker Kelly is a big part of that. He has been driving the bus on the penalty kill, and to have the kill be as successful as it has been. No Yoel Kiviranta, no Logan O'Connor. Parker Kelly deserves a huge amount of credit.
Parker Kelly, you're doing really great. I forgot that we kind of addressed them, right? Parker, you actually probably belong a little higher in this pyramid, but everybody is performing above expectation, which is why this team is doing so well. I think they're just setting a new standard for themselves. But Parker Kelly, you set a new standard for yourself too. He is producing at a career high pace with 19 points and 80 games play, being the highest this last season. He's around just below half point per game. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting that to persist, but he has played, limited minutes from kind of a fourth line role. sometimes playing up as needed when the injuries have cropped up here recently. He got the game winner against New Jersey earlier this year, and that was the hottest team out east coming into town. He gets the game-winning goal in that game, has the highest PK time on ice among all the forwards. To your point, right, when they have Val Nichushkin missing a couple of games, it's been some heavy lifting for Parker Kelly. Highest blocks per 60 of all the forwards, 5 goals, 4 assists through the 20-game mark specifically, because he did pick up a point in this last weekend, and those 2 penalty kills in that first period against Chicago. To your point, there have been games where the game inside the game, like if not for such a good penalty kill, the outcome would have been different. When you've got a 1-0 shutout win, you're definitely looking at that first period then with the good penalty kill in particular, and you're crediting a guy like Parker Kelly.
Even the Nashville game.
Huge.
Like the penalty kill has needed to be really, really big for these guys, especially not only what you just described, but the games in which the power play isn't going and the score is tight and they can't get one to go. And you need to make sure you're coming out at least tied in that special teams battle. Parker Kelly
really works. Penalty Kelly.
Live, laugh, love Parker Kelly from the chat. Parker Kelly, my goat. Parker Kelly so close to getting a shorty. A lot of Parker Kelly love in the chat today. A lot of Parker Kelly love in the chat.
I feel bad. So there are guys that have been left out of this pyramid because it's technically representative of mine. So I'm selling myself out. I didn't have Mackenzie Blackwood in mine. I'm just revealing it now. We can talk about it more.
And it's
because I was going to tell on Jesse he didn't have Parker Kelly in his.
I had Mackenzie Blackwood on mine, and mine was what I talked about earlier with the game puck and just like what, even though he's only played 4 games, what just a guy like Mackenzie Blackwood and that mentality for your starter, the guy who is the number one, what that means to this group. That's why I had him on mine. But Parker Kelly absolutely deserves to be. And like that was why we said this is a tough pyramid.
It is hard.
This is a tougher pyramid than any of the ones we did last year.
Yeah, it's not like I'm sitting here saying Blackwood.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
See,
scrub.
Well, and then here's the other part. We had Chloe last year. So we were able to take 3 pyramid rankings, and we had like a scoring system to like, average them out. And that was how. Well, we only have 2 of us now this year. Yeah. So we got here. We're like, oh, our lists are different. I don't really know how to average this out. So we had to just make some choices. And hey, I like Parker Kelly being on there. He's had a great start to the year.
I made some concessions too. We'll talk about them in a second.
And noted wiener dog guy. I'm in Parker Kelly's corner.
True. Put him at number 1 right now.
Put him at number 1. And wiener dog shaped pyramid, and he can be at the very top. All right, keep on moving here.
It's kind of just a line.
Yeah, just a line. Well, there's a little bit of like arch, like if you get it right. Number 12 on the Avs first 20 game pyramid. Ross Colton moved his way up from the 3rd line to the 2nd line, continues to be wildly effective, Megan. And I think we are finally starting to see Ross Colton settle into a role here with the Colorado Avalanche. He's killing penalties. He's getting great minutes playing next to Brock Nelson. He's effective. He plays with an edge. I think all those little things that are the reasons why the Avs brought in Ross Colton, we're finally starting to see shine through.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about Brock Nelson later in this pyramid, and we're not talking about Brock Nelson at the back half of this 20-game segment as happily, if not for Ross Colton being added to that line, adding a little bit of energy and just something different that has helped to unlock a lot of Brock Nelson's game, because I think that what Ross Colton brings really complements it. He's got that get up and go, and he plays with a little bit of a fun edge sometimes. So I think right now too, because to start the year, that 3rd line, I think they were building chemistry, but it's just, better with the high top 6 skill complement. We're seeing more of the production translate in Ross Colton's game than where it started for him this year. And so he's got an 8.2 shooting percentage, and that's a little low for him just as a standard. So I think it's only going to get better from here, but it's been good to start.
You'll like this comment. There's no Kivy for Jesse to hate on right now.
Parker Kelly.
So he's turned on Parker Kelly. No. Like I said,
We've turned on Jack Drury, who we'll talk about later. He belongs in the pyramid too.
I guess we could have just added another rung and just incled everybody and just ranked them all. But
then
that
there were
would have been
guys
less
that
fun.
didn't make any of our lists, and those are the true.
Yeah. No, Ross has been great, and someone that we talked to on the show at the beginning of the year, and just the goals that he had for himself and what he wanted to see out of what he was doing, what his line was doing. Good to see Ross Colton finding some success and finding some consistency. That's something he's talked with us a lot about. Is, hey, I want to get into a groove here. I want to find my role, and I want to do it well, and I think he's doing that. So good for Ross Colton. Really, really positive impact player for the Avs to start the season.
Yeah.
Here's the surprise, Megan. Here, if you go back to training camp day one, this has to be the surprise that not only he is still here, but he has been so effective that he's actually made his way onto the pyramid, making his NHL pyramid debut. It's Gavin Brindley.
You guys, he was number 4 in my original list, so I needed to calm down. This is where I tried to make this sort of realistic and that it wouldn't be Jesse just losing his mind with Parker Kelly at the top of the pyramid. So Gavin Brindley absolutely belongs in this pyramid. Does he belong higher? I don't know. That's for you guys to decide. He's got
for you to debate in the comments.
Yeah. So even though he's missed a little bit of time here, with some injury, the concussion protocol stuff, he still has 18 games played in this 20-game segment, 4 goals, 3 assists in 9:17 for the average ice time. I think he's tracking more like an average of 10 minutes a night plus, especially when he was elevated to the second line with Nichushkin out. He was playing bigger minutes, tougher matchups, and he did just fine before the injury. 2 game-winning goals, including that really memorable one in OT against Vancouver, in the Buffalo game at home. So Gavin Brindley has been not necessarily an unexpected surprise to me, because I just knew he was going to fit in this system so well. But what's been exciting is when he's been given a little bit of a longer leash, more opportunity, he's getting some reps on that top-ranked penalty kill, and he's holding his own with the top 6 minutes that he's been handed. I'm so excited for what the future holds for him, and I'm excited for him to get healthy again.
I just honestly, Megan, he's exceeded my expectations by a lot. How effective he's been able to come in and be right away. And not only be effective and be noticeable, but to be a contributor, earned opportunity up the lineup. He hasn't looked out of place anywhere that the Avs have plugged him in. And I'm sitting here looking at this like, holy smokes. The Avs found their ELC contributor. You have a kid here who's making a legitimate impact on this roster, is a clearly better option than other guys that he beat out, and you're doing it on an entry-level deal. This is exactly the type of player, excuse me, that the Avs needed. I was not expecting it to come in the form of Gavin Brindley, especially for an undersized player. What he's been able to do, the way he plays, and the way he's embraced the role that he was stuck in at the start of the, not stuck as in like, oh, he was stuck there, like that he was put in. He's embraced that. I've talked to him about it, he said you need to do it. I think it's important for young players to learn how to play in a fourth line role. And that mindset helped him work up the lineup and work into some situations that maybe suit his skill set a little bit better. He's been rewarded for it. I've been so impressed with Gavin Brindley.
This a total tangent, but like Bardakov, not in this pyramid. I think they're different players. It's important to acknowledge stylistically how they are different, but both with the similar problem of limited ice time to start this year. I think that the approach that Brindley has had in how he makes a difference, makes an impact in those limited minutes, has translated to better results, which has led to better opportunity. I think that can still exist for Bardakov in a slightly different way, right? Like, I think that's making the most of some of those PK reps that Bardakov is getting now, because again, different players. But I don't have an issue with Bardakov complaining. about ice time. I'm saying complaining carefully. Like, I don't think it's even really
Right,
complaining.
right.
I don't really have an issue with that, but I want to see Bardakov seize the opportunity the same way that Brindley did, in the way that makes sense for him as a player. And that's why, like, seeing Brindley do it is why I'm like, okay, I hear you, Bardakov, but Gavin Brindley just did this.
So Megan, I used to get really frustrated with people when they talk about AJ Greer here in Colorado, and not just AJ Greer. Pick a guy, Martin Kaut, Jean-Luc Foudy. There's been plenty of guys over the years.
Bardakov now wants more pyramid time.
Pobrecito. Yeah, I'll say we're going to be in the next Russian article.
No.
But Megan, like I used to get frustrated when I'd hear people talk about that kind of stuff. Like, oh, what do you want? What do you want AJ Greer to do? He played 4.5 minutes. It's like, there's guys every night that step into a lineup.
Jason Poland hit like 17 different people.
Right. And it's like, there are guys every single night that find ways to come in and be effective. Do something on one shift that is effective, is noticeable, makes a difference. Maybe not even for the game, but for your shift. And to be clear, I mean, this isn't me saying Bardakov isn't doing that. I think Bardakov has been fine.
I agree.
But I think you see guys all the time who get called up. They only get a few minutes, and it's like, oh, well, what did you expect them to do?
Buck up.
Gavin Brindley, exactly. Gavin Brindley is the best example right now I can think of like, that's what you do with limited minutes.
Tristan Nielsen, first NHL point.
First NHL point.
That's what you do with limited minutes.
And it's born off of what? A dumb turnover from Spencer Knight.
Knight played so well.
He played so well and then just had a complete brain fart. But hey, Tristan Nielsen, you're the I believe he was the third guy supporting on the forecheck, stick on the ice, right? Picks off a pass, doesn't overthink it, collects it, dusts it off, puts it to the net.
Well, and he jets over to the right circle,
right,
to kind of open up the time and space a little bit differently.
Gives himself the puck wasn't clean on his stick, so he gets adjusted, gets it handled, puts it to the net. He does little things right. That's what you do with limited minutes. So Gavin Brindley, despite limited minutes early on, worked his way on to the pyramid here. Next is a guy who is not getting limited minutes and in fact is helping guys by eating some heavy minutes. It's the new guy, Brent Burns. Megan, there's a lot of season left. He's 40 years old, but I think through 22 games, I don't know if you could have asked more out of Brent Burns than what he's given you.
Yeah. Brent, 1 goal, 9 assists through the first 20 games of the season, second in time on ice on the penalty kill. I bring that up again because obviously Devon Toews eating up big minutes. It's lessened a little bit of that load off of Cale Makar in a big and reliable way. He has been good, trusted. I think that some of what he does with his stick defensively doesn't get a lot of credit because he's so big that I think he's misunderstood and what he does so well in his own end defensively. But it's been huge, just coming up with some blocks on the penalty kill. And then the production's been fine, a goal and 9 assists. And,
eating 2 goals, right?
Yeah. So hold on. This was through the 20 game mark. He got the goal this weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
That's why, that's why it's tricky.
No, that's my fault. That's my fault.
This is where Parker Kelly also picked up a point this weekend. So his points totals, there's just add one more. But anyways, Brent Burns now 2 goals, 9 assists.
1 goal, 9 assists through 20 games.
Through 20 games.
Yes,
the pyramid thing.
Sorry. That was my fault.
It's hard. That's still great production.
Yeah.
Out of 40-year-old Brent Burns who's still doing the Brent Burns offensive thing. So I really liked what he's added. And I think that's why the Manson Burns pair, there's like incentive to keep them together. They just work really well, even with Manson playing on his offside. So I think that's a credit to how Brent Burns is holding things down responsibly.
I think he's been a great veteran voice to step in here for some of the younger guys and a guy even like Sam Malinski on the back end that, yes, he's been here for a couple of years and there's great leadership, but having a guy like Brent Burns never hurts. And I think Brent Burns is a guy who's having an effect on every single defenseman in that locker room. I think he's benefiting a young guy like Sam Malinski. I think he's benefiting the best defenseman in the world like Cale Makar. And I just don't, like I said, I don't think you could ask for more than what Brent Burns has given you so far.
I think they're shooting more on the whole because of Brent Burns. I think it's fun. I think they enjoy getting involved in that way. And it's also had that influence of adding that drill just a little bit more in practice for a tip in from the slot, because you've got a shot from the point. Brent Burns has done this so well that I think everyone else is like, why don't we all try?
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, it's had an influence on players like Malinski.
It's and he's definitely a guy, Brent Burns, that you don't have to tell twice to shoot. Great call out.
No.
He gets that puck on a stick and fires it.
Good vibes.
Moving on. Next here on the pyramid as we inch closer to the top, Victor Olofsson. Maybe a little bit of a slow start production-wise, Megan, but you saw the fit immediately. You and I were singing his praises last week about just how well he is fit. The production has started to catch up. Victor Olofsson has become a weapon for this team. He's a great offensive threat, and you have to like his buy-in. As a guy that came with some defensive question marks, has not given me any reason, cause for concern to get going here early.
No, and everyone else has shouted it out, right? Like Landeskog playing on a line with him has talked about his engagement and commitment to what he's doing away from the puck. It's not only like, oh, this isn't a concern. There have been times where I notice him on a forecheck, and he's kind of the reason that they're able to win possession back because of the decisions he's making. And it's not like he's the biggest, most physical guy out there. He's just doing those things right. And the production's been as advertised. I think for a little bit, the shooting threat, you're kind of like, why are they trying to force this so hard on us? Once it finally started to click, I think you look at the power play that has struggled a little bit on the whole through this point, but it's had some highs and lows. And some of what's helped to break it out of those lulls has been Victor Olofsson, who behind like what McKinnon and Netchus have contributed on the power play, with McKinnon doing the heavy lifting, Victor Olofsson has kind of come up from behind to help shake it out of some of those tough periods, because he just has the shooting instinct, and it's a little different from what's represented. It's been a really great compliment then to like the top 9 in what they're doing to create 5v5, and then also on that power play.
6 goals already for Victor Olofsson on the season. Copy paste everything you just said. He's helped relieve some of that pressure, and he's feeling a little bit of that Andre Burakovsky can get you an easy goal. He just needs a clear lane.
Yeah.
And that's something that I thought was a real asset to the the eventual championship team in 22, was having a guy that I think back to that Florida Panther game in the 21-22 season when the Avs really couldn't get stuff going, and Andre Burakovsky breaks through with a hat trick, scores the only 3 goals for the Avs, and they were all just on, heavy, hard wrist shot from the slot. A quick shot that he got off, from the dot. And that's what Victor Olofsson has the ability to do, as well as, hey, we're stuck. We're in a jam a bit. Olofsson can get you a goal. And I think he's done that here early.
And the high skill passing.
Yes.
It's been, whether it's like to Colton when they were on a line together, it kind of added that top 6 skill that really helps benefit a player like Colton to help get him set up, get Drury set up when they've played together. And it's just been honestly like great stick plays too, whether it be his stick blade at the net front for a deflection to McKinnon opposite him, or his stick placement in the lane of Malinski on that other goal. I think that it's the high skill play that complements high skill players. And so it's like, all right, he doesn't just have this one trick in his bag. He's got a couple other things going for him. Cool guy.
The next one here, Megan, I think is, if there was a most improved award in the NHL, he might already be in the running for it. What we've seen him do from his first true rookie season last year to this year has been incredible. And actually, Megan, on a night last night where I thought the Avs didn't have their best game, this was one of the players who I thought stood out in a really positive way. One of my favorite games of his this season. It is Sam Malinski on the back end. I think I said it on Friday. I think we are watching a player develop into a legit set and forget second pairing defenseman before our eyes. Long way to go. Still in his sophomore year, technically. But I think what we're seeing out of Sam, not only right here, but what he's built on in the lead up to this point in his career. I think we're seeing a long NHL career be built right before us.
Yeah, because he's earning so much trust from a coach who doesn't readily give it to young players newer to the league. But in his second full NHL season, getting to see him take on maybe some tougher matchups, even from the third pair role in, technically on paper, getting some more PK reps added to his repertoire, it's because he's being trusted defensively first and foremost. And you're seeing it translate to the confidence building in his game to get involved offensively. And so he's producing at, a career high pace. I know it's early for him, but it's still the second highest point per game among defensemen behind Cale Makar. And I love the shout out of Jared Bednar pointing out that of any threats they have from the back end out, he's the second best they've got right next to Cale. And you look at the 5v5 numbers and how he is driving play, and it's impressive. Like I had through the 20 game mark for a piece I'm working on, but now obviously we're 22 games in. Evan Rawl has the piece come out with the expected goals for, scoring chances for, just leading the league. And I know quality of competition gets measured in there, but Jared Bednar said because he's playing a little bit heavier in his own end, he's closing out plays quickly, he's earning more trust than in taking on some of those tougher matchups. And I think the game you point out last night, that's what I saw the biggest growth in is he's stronger. He just looks stronger. He is harder to work off pucks. He's harder just to even check him. He is right back on his feet as if nothing happened. And so I think there are so many areas of his game that have grown one year to the next, but how good he is in his own end, how much stronger he is a big difference, and probably would have him higher on a separate pyramid. The one where Gavin Brindley's number one, Parker Kelly's number one, and now Sam Malinski's also number one.
Looks like we do have a super chat celebrating Sam Malinski. Let's see. There it is. Boom.
Sam!
At Malinski season, $1.99. Woo, there they are. There's those super chat lights. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sam is what the super chat says.
Wow. I'm surprised too. Like the goal scoring, it's technically just one goal on this season, but there have been a few that have been from his stick, right? Like off his shot, born from that opportunity in some way.
Big start to the year for Sam Malinski. Sam Malhimski. That's right.
Himski.
Really great start for the Avs and for Sam Malinski.
Everyone is number one.
We talked about it last week. I'd like to see the Avs get working on an extension for this guy sooner rather than later. All right, rounding out this rung of the pyramid as we inch closer to the top. Megan, a player that I think is maybe going a little bit underappreciated, and the more and more that I just zone in on this player, the more and more I like his game and the little things that he's doing all over the place. Had another nice little kind of handsy move last night. Didn't quite, put it away, but nice move. Brock Nelson. 2C Brock Nelson. I think you could easily make it. I think there's an argument to be made for a lot of these guys to be further up. Brock Nelson is someone that I think, especially as the season goes on, there is going to be so much conversation about how valuable this guy is to the team. And I think you could even make that argument right now. You don't have to worry about that second line. It's set and forget. Brock Nelson's driving the bus. He's been great defensively. He's been killing penalties. And the offense is starting to go.
Rockstar.
And you can see the little plays here and there where it's like, oh, yeah, this is a guy that the offense is there. No doubt.
It is. And you look at like his 19 games, I think it was, with the Avs after the deadline last year, and his points pace really picked up at the end of it. And so people are kind of like, we gave up Cal Ritchie for this. And I think there was even that sentiment to start this year because it gets a little bit slow to start for him. And part of that is building chemistry with new teammates. That's still the thing that he had to contend with coming out of camp this year, is figuring out who's going to work best with him. And so while all of that's happening, while that offensive side of his game is coming together, he's doing all the right things defensively, including really helping to support that penalty kill, being leaned on it for it's so much more than he really was last year. He's killed before, but he's really added a lot to that unit. In taking the most D-zone faceoffs on the team, Jack Drury holds the best D-zone faceoff record, but on the kill specifically, he is the best win percentage, Brock Nelson, that is. And so he's really helped them to win draws on the kill, gain possession quickly. And I think it's directly translated to some of those shorthanded chances.
Yep.
We've seen Parker Kelly in particular not quite get his shorthanded goal yet. But that being said, everything he's doing defensively, how he's added to that penalty kill unit, and then with where his game is rising offensively right now at this point in the season, I'm so excited. I think it's such a steady option for a 2C with more to give than we've even fully seen.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I'm going to move on. I'm going to not add too much to that because we're at an hour right here.
I know.
And you and I could talk for 15 minutes about each one of these guys.
You're so right. Let's
but I
speed run. The rest are more obvious.
They are for sure. And so here's the one thing I will add, or not add, but just agree on with what you just said. He's done Brock Nelson's done so many things well all over the ice. And when you're looking at the offense, you can see that it's coming. If he can add that fully back into that portfolio and get back in that 25 goal pace range, man, you're going to be really happy with what you're getting out of Brock Nelson as a second line center. You're going to be really happy with it.
I know I said 60 points on the year is what I wanted to see him get to. I think 50 points, I'll still be really happy. And that feels more realistic.
But if you start going 60 plus, like that's your idea. That's your dream.
That's the dream. That's
right?
the dream.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like in year one, maybe that was ambitious. There's going to be some growing pains here at the start.
Yeah. Brock Nelson on the right track. I suspect he will work his way up this pyramid at different times, parts of the year. Keeping it moving here. No real surprise as he's the glue. He's the glue that holds the top six together, and he's the first name in the top six of the pyramid. It's Artturi Lehkonen. Snake bit to end last year. I think he is the perfect player to have playing with Marty Necas. Nathan MacKinnon just goes to the net, continues to find the puck, continues to do the right things, gets rewarded for it. Artturi Lehkonen, I don't know if you can ever quite adequately sell what he means to this team.
No, because I think we'd be having a really different conversation if he didn't exist as an option for the top six. It'd be a question of, what is the piece that MacKinnon and Necas need to work well together? Because I think that MacKinnon and Necas do have chemistry, but it can be a high wire act at times. And Artturi Lehkonen is the connector between those two that really makes it work no matter what, in a way that you don't have to worry about, like, don't worry, Artturi Lehkonen will do it. Right. It's just one of those things where if you didn't have Artturi Lehkonen doing it, it would be a huge problem, and it's a hard hole to fill. What he adds to the team is very hard to replace, including what he adds on the penalty kill, his work ethic. He's the original Honey Badger. I know Gavin Brindley's earned that nickname, very rightfully in my opinion, but he's the OG Honey Badger for a reason that can play with Nathan MacKinnon.
He's a top 6 fourth liner.
He's a top 6 fourth liner.
You know what I mean? Like he's a top line player, in my opinion. Artturi Lehkonen is a first line player, but he plays with the hunger and mentality of a fringe fourth line guy just trying to stay on the roster. Like I've never seen a guy less afraid of getting absolutely beat up in front of the net. He goes to the front, takes abuse, takes cross checks, takes slashes, punches to the face, and then he's the first one to find the puck and punch it into the back of the net. I feel like half the goals Artturi Lehkonen scores, he's either already fallen down or falling down.
Right.
And I'm so with you. Nathan MacKinnon, Marty Necas, they need a guy like that. Hey, yeah, 2 different spin moves from Marty Necas, a drop pass, 3 cross seams. Oh man, a heavy one-timer. Oh, Artturi Lehkonen put in the rebound.
Right. He can keep up with what those crazy guys are doing.
Artturi Lehkonen continues to be the glue of the top half. He'll continue to be that. A guy that I think you could definitely make an argument for being further up, but I personally think he is perfectly positioned here on the pyramid. It's Marty Necas. And I think coming out, if we did maybe a 10-game pyramid, he might have been right near the tippy top. But you know what I love about what Marty Necas has done so far this season, Megan? He's been Mikko Rantanen. He's had games where you maybe haven't noticed him. He hasn't done a lot. He's maybe even made some mistakes, but he continues to find a way to produce. And the only reason I say that, I'm bringing that up as a comparison is that's the hole that they needed him to fill. We need you to be an elite producer, play with Nathan MacKinnon, score some easy goals. But hey, you don't have to be the guy every single night. I think Marty Necas is filling that Mikko Rantanen role perfectly.
13 goals, 15 assists in 22 games for Marty Necas for 28 points. 10 goals, 18 assists in 22 games for Mikko Rantanen, 28 points. He is Mikko Rantanen, at least of right now, except not suspended. So
not suspended.
I love you, Marty Necas. No.
Zing.
Just kidding. But his contributions on the power play that has struggled have still been important. It's like it'd be a worse power play if not for what he is adding there. I obviously want to see it get fixed and sorted, but on the heels of such a big extension, his production being where it has been through this point, just want to see it sustained over the course of the whole year. But it's been good. It's been to expectation, and I'm happy.
If Marty Necas can continue to do this,
just keep doing this.
Pick up points. You don't need to be perfect every night. Just continue to pick up points, contribute here, contribute there. Big goal here, big goal there.
Some timely ones, yeah.
Some timely goal. Just keep doing what he's doing. And, again, the whole argument this whole time has been, oh, man, they can they replace Mikko Rantanen? You got rid of Mikko Rantanen. Is Marty Necas in that tier? The Avs needed to recreate Mikko in the aggregate. Can you get a couple players to make up for that production? If Marty Necas can basically just match the production that you lost with Mikko Rantanen, then yes, 4D chess move from Chris MacFarland again. You can match the output plus get the depth other places. And especially you have another year kind of like Nathan MacKinnon's last year when they won the cup. Hey, if you can get in and get a banner hung while Marty Necas is still on the deal he's on before that raise goes into effect, you really feel good about where you're at. Just keep doing what you're doing, Marty.
And just adding to the timely goals thing, there have been games where maybe an ugly shift or two, a string of ugly shifts. He always makes up for it inside that game. And so I want to give him credit for that. He's not a perfect player, but he finds ways to make up for it in game.
What was it? Was he the one who put the puck over the glass?
Yep, the delayed game, and Jared said he owed us that one.
He owed us that one because he shot it over the boards with nobody around. Marty Necas, it's a great call out. His blemishes he seems to make up for. Megan, I genuinely think this next guy, there's a real argument that he should be at the top of the pyramid because of the difference that he has made to this organization, and you can see it. Maybe the on-ice production hasn't quite been there. He's been robbed a couple times, but there is no arguing. There's not even a way to dispute it. What Gabe Landeskog means to this organization is unparalleled, and I think you could easily make the argument that he could be at the top because this is just a different team when he's in the lineup. Jared Bednar said the other night, hey, part of the reason why we're able to turn in a good game every night, even if it doesn't start that way, is because our leadership, Gabe knows what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. What he means to this team, I don't even know if we could ever accurately describe.
Yeah, I won't add too much to it. Everyone has talked about, and Jared Bednar has even almost called us out lovingly, like, I don't think you guys can ever fully appreciate it. I tried to tell you the difference that he makes. And it is, he describes it as a calm around the team. And then the way that he leads specifically in games like going back to the New York Rangers game, where the Rangers were giving the Avs their very best. And the response that they have, I think Jared Bednar largely credits to the leadership inside the game, getting them on the right track in a way that's going to actually resonate. And so I think the delivery of the messages that the team needs to stay on task in games, get back on track, is delivered perfectly by Gabriel Landeskog, and not every leader can do that.
No, I don't know if you could put it any better than that. He's been, like you said, Jared, I tried to tell you guys, like there's more than what even we who are around them as much as you can be, that even we just can't see and fully appreciate. And I remember so much Nazem Kadri talking about this and Jared Bednar talking about it in the lead up to the cup year of the message needs to be coming from the guys in that room. The coaches can do coaches can coach, they can point stuff out, they can help. But for that message to really be effective, it needs to come from the leaders in the room. You heard people talk about that with the Florida Panthers last year, that when there were players that were doing things that, new players that were acquired that weren't quite right, it was Matthew Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov who would talk to him right there on the bench. Hey, nope, we don't do it that way.
Yeah.
This is how it's done. And I remember talking to Nazem Kadri the year after the Cup year, asking him, now having been through it, what is the difference? What's the difference between a really good team, a great team, and a championship team? And he said, championship team, the leadership comes from in the room. Coaches don't need to say anything. The leaders know how to handle it. And I just don't think you can really emphasize that enough. And I'm with you. I don't think there's anyone in the league better at it than Gabe Landeskog.
Yeah.
So while he finishes 4th on the pyramid, he could be permanently at the very top, and I don't think anyone would have a problem.
Next to my Gavin Brindley, Parker Kelly, Sam Malinski pyramid.
This is more of an inverted pyramid than anything else. One person at the bottom.
I really like 5 number ones.
And then how many people can you fit at the top? All right. The only reason Gabe isn't at the top, Megan, is because you've got 3 players doing elite things right now. At number 3 on our first pyramid of the season is Cale Makar, on pace for 100 points, 30 goals again. Cale Makar looks a little bit more like himself, looks confident. And he's just back to looking, not that he ever didn't, he had 30 goals last year, but just looks like Cale Makar, and seems to be in control. And you can't replicate that when you've got Cale Makar going like this.
Yeah, in talking about the guys on this pyramid, like, wow, these guys have just surpassed expectation, even though the expectation for these guys at the top of the pyramid was already high. Somehow, Cale Makar just continues to be better than a past version of himself.
Yep.
I'm still not sure what he's fully capable of because he continues to surprise me.
Well, and you have to wonder if there's a level of it that is, and I believe you asked him about it, and I believe it was you who asked him, and he downplayed it a bit, but like, he is playing less minutes thanks to a guy like Brent Burns. He is having to take a couple fewer shifts on the PK because of a guy like Brent Burns. And while he downplayed it, I have to imagine that there's a level of what we're seeing out of Cale Makar right now is that, the minutes aren't as heavy. The responsibility is spread out a little bit. Cale Makar can go out there and be Cale Makar.
Yeah, he's still 25-minute Cale, but he can do more Cale things. And the production has reflected that. It's as good as ever, if not on track for being better.
Yeah.
So somehow.
Here's where you and I differed on our initial lists. Cale Makar comes in 3rd. And I don't think there's any gripe with either of these 2 guys at the top.
I don't think so.
Here's the one thing that I want to say about who comes in at number 2 for the pyramid, for our first pyramid of the season. It is Nathan MacKinnon. I just want to make sure that we point out here, I think there's been so much greatness happening with this Avs team in the first 20 games. I think there's been a lot of storylines. I think there's been a lot of great things to point at, that I think it has ended up, what Nathan MacKinnon is doing, I think, has gotten lost in how much positive there is right now. Right now, Nathan MacKinnon is on track for the greatest season in Colorado Avalanche history. And it's really not even close. What he's doing right now, he looks like the best player in the world. And he looks like he is on a mission to win another Stanley Cup, and that is all he cares about.
Yeah. 17 goals, 20 assists, 37 points in 22 games. His pretty, like, that lead he has for the number 1 spot in the points race just continues to get a little bit bigger. And I think, to your point, we've seen a lot of great MacKinnon regular seasons through the lens of him saving the team at necessary times. The goaltending tandem can't be trusted. They're struggling, but Nathan MacKinnon is putting up points. And he's still doing all of that, but they don't need Nathan MacKinnon to save them on a nightly basis. I think the way we've seen that play out in years past. And to Nate's credit, there have been individual games that he's taken over
Mhm.
in this season already. There's 6 3-point plus nights that he's had already through 22 games. So that being said, he's had some really impressive performances. It's just been maybe glossed over because it's like a 9-1 win against Edmonton and other players had multi-point nights. So that being said, you're right. The track that he's on is a historic best, and we've seen really great Nate MacKinnon seasons. So it makes it hard to give the number 1 spot to somebody else.
But you just you're seeing what Nathan MacKinnon is doing right now, and it's like, just you think about it. Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Ray Bourque, Milan Hajduk in his prime. There have been some amazing Hall of Fame players that have come through here. And right now we are witnessing the best season ever from an individual. Long way to go, but holy smokes, what a season Nathan MacKinnon is having. You mentioned the multi-point performances. I just wanted to call out 500 multi-point games for Sidney Crosby as of this weekend. 500 multi-point games for Sidney Crosby. That's impressive enough as it is. Here's a tweet from Penguins PR. If you've ever watched Crosby play at any point over the last 21 years, there's a higher percentage chance you've seen him record a multi-point game than a game with 0 points. He has had 500 multi-point games, 402 where he's collected no points. That is incredible.
All gas.
All gas, no brakes. Not unlike the surprise of nobody, the man who is at the very top of the pyramid. What a start to the season, Megan, for Scott Wedgwood. King of the pyramid, king of the first pyramid, 20 games in, and Scott Wedgwood has been absolutely outstanding, Megan. There's a lot of these players that you say, oh, you could make the argument the Avs aren't where they are if not for this guy. Oh, that Scott Wedgwood, 13 wins, 1 loss, 2 in overtime, a .918 save percentage, and a 2.09 goals against, with his first shutout coming last night. Scott Wedgwood has been on another level this season, and couldn't have come at a better time. Mackenzie Blackwood injured to start the season. The Avs were needing to go to Wedgwood to start. And not only did he help them survive and get through that injury with Mackenzie Blackwood, he has helped them thrive. And for my money, has been the best goaltender in the NHL through 20 games. Yes, there are some goalies out there doing some really awesome things. But I think the way that Scott Wedgwood has played, not only the numbers, but coming up in moments when his team has really needed him, big, timely moments, Scott Wedgwood has been outstanding for the Avs this season.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Obviously, the back-to-back shutouts from the goalies this weekend, it's not fully captured in our 20-game pyramid segment, but .913 save percentage, I think that's on the whole season. I don't think I have that from the past. And you look at the rush attempts against in natural stat trick, and he's faced some of the most of any goaltender. And that's always a tricky situation. You're really relying on your goaltender. You're right. Those timely saves. I also think so. He's getting the goal support, which has been important. That kind of really adds emphasis to how you're evaluating a goaltender. But the Avs today still have yet to lose a game by more than just a single goal difference. And it's a big credit to the goal support that the goalies are getting in these games, but a huge credit to Wedgwood, who assumed the starting job out the gate, despite having been rested in the Dallas series and playing a backup schedule the year before following the chaos of a trade. So all that taking into consideration, Scott Wedgwood has been well above expectation for what he was brought here to be, which is a backup goaltender. He's really done a great job as the starter for the Avs to help them get off to the impressive start that they've had.
The most impactful player for the Avs getting off to this start per our rankings, Scott Wedgwood. He's been huge And similarly to what we talked about with Blackwood, to what we talked about with Landeskog, obviously Landeskog's in a different tier with that, but like it's what these guys bring to the room. When we talked about it with Brent Burns, these guys want to
918.
battle for Scott Wedgwood. They want to compete. They want to win games. And he's just a guy they want to play for. And I think not only has Scott Wedgwood's play been impressive, but I think what he means to this group is just as important. So Scott Wedgwood with the wooden crown takes the top spot on the first pyramid of the season, Megan.
918 save percentage on the year.
918.
He has been fantastic.
So there you go. There's the pyramid. Josh Manson, Devon Taves, Parker Kelly, Ross Colton, Gavin Brindley, Brent Burns, Victor Olofsson, Sam Malinski, Brock Nelson, Arturi Lehkonen, Marty Netchus, Gabe Landeskog, Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, and Scott Wedgwood. Megan, like we said at the top, we could have done a 22-man roster for this one, and it would have made sense. The Avs are off to a great start.
I had Jack Drury in my original list. He didn't make this one. He was, I think, a fair honorable mention.
Absolutely.
I know that, like, for the 3C job, maybe the production isn't wowing anyone, but it's still a career best pace for him, and everything that he's doing on the kill and defensively has been really good. So he deserves to be in this conversation, at least in some way.
No, I completely agree. And Sam Girard, the games that he's been in has been good.
Nichushkin
been hurt. Val, very good in the games that he's been in. Been hurt. And Mackenzie Blackwood, we don't have on here.
Yeah.
Only played 4 games.
Just a small sample size.
Small sample size, but really a lot to like for the Avs to start this season. So there it is. There's the final pyramid for you. Let us know your thoughts. How would your pyramid have looked? We rank these based on how impactful we see these players to being to the overall team success. But again, just to keep reiterating, this is definitely the way this Avs team is playing, the way the season has started, Megan. There is an argument for every single guy right up to Chris McFarland for being on this pyramid here today. But hey, there we go. Fun one to kick things off. We survived.
The pyramid
We did
show.
it. We did it. And I think with less disagreement than in the past.
I think so too.
Maybe Chloe was the problem.
No.
Chloe, if you're watching this, maybe you were the problem.
No.
With the disagreement on the pyramid. Don't listen to Megan. I think you were the problem, Chloe.
Chloe, you were not.
I'm going to clip this and send it to her. Chloe.
Jesse,
don't
you just
be such a problem.
You struggled with the constraints of like it's the 1 to 10 games. You're like, but game 11 was really incredible.
I know. Well,
and I struggle with
overvaluing empty net hat tricks. I get it.
Kivy.
I get it.
Conveniently not mentioned yet in this conversation at all.
Conveniently not mentioned.
Conveniently.
Also injured. So a lot of the guys that we left off
injured.
have missed time. That's going to do it for today. Big shout out to John. We kept him in the seat for long, but he was excited for the return of the pyramid.
Yeah.
So John, I hope. All right, I hear some applause. I hope you enjoyed it. And also shout out, John brought me a laptop charger mid-show. So that was very helpful.
The Chloe slander to Kivy slander. Unbelievable. This guy, unbelievable. Left Parker Kelly off his pyramid.
Hey,
guys.
I'm telling you, we're doing a wiener dog pyramid next fucking show. And it's going to be just Parker Kelly. The whole length.
That's just Parker Kelly multiple times.
Of the weenie.
But different versions of Parker Kelly.
Exactly. She's Meghan Angley. I'm Jesse Montano. We got John behind the glass today, making sure you guys can see us and hear us. We do have plenty of content coming before Thursday, but no shows between now and then. So just wanted to make sure we give a quick shout out. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Megan and I, believe it or not, we actually do talk about you all a lot. We're very thankful for you guys tuning in, watching, listening, downloading. We can't tell you how much it means to us. Megan and I have worked together. We've been on multiple different shows together. We've tried starting our own shows. We've done a lot of different stuff. And the support that you guys have shown her and I over the last several years now, Megan, is just incredible. It means the world to us. And we're just very grateful that we get to keep doing this, and keep doing this together. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you all very much. It has been a crazy, crazy start to the year at Guerilla. So we've had a lot going. We've got a lot more still to come. And that includes, Megan, we're giving away some tickets this week. So more details to come, but we are going to do a little bit of a come and find us type of scavenger. The one bit of info I'll give you guys right now, we're going to have a graphic coming later with what all it is. But make sure you guys are going and make sure you are subscribed to the Guerilla Sports YouTube channel. That is going to be the one big prerequisite of this contest is we're going to want to make sure that you guys are subscribed. Megan, we are 4 followers away from 9,900, which means we are 104 away from 10,000 subscribers on the Guerilla Sports YouTube channel. So make sure you are subscribed there. Keep an eye on Guerilla Sports socials as we are going to give you guys a chance to win some tickets to an Avs game this week. So keep an eye out. That'll be coming a little bit later. That's going to do it. She's Megan. I'm Jesse. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Talk to you later. Make sure you're subscribed. Keep an eye out. We got tickets coming your way this week. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Love you.
Bye. Love you. Bye, Stanley. Love you.